Namaskar, good evening, Sat Sri Akal, Adab. I'm Ila Pachauri, Chief Happiness Officer and co-founder at Motherhood Club. And today I'm back with our Wealth series with Dr. Priyanka Tibrewala. She has been very kind enough to agree to do a series on parenting with us. I watched both your previous episodes, Dr. Priyanka, and they were wonderful. And I welcome you once again on board.
Thank you so much, Ela. You know, really
Thank you.
grateful that you watched the episode and you found value.
No, I really found lots of value, and I made some mental notes that how to behave when I become a grandmother. Because my child has flown out of the nest now. But yes, I took many tips. I actually noted them down, and I have thought of sharing them with many new parents also, because many of my daughter's friends are now becoming parents, and they have often come to me with challenges. So indeed, like I really benefited from your sessions, and I'm very sure that many of our viewers in the last two episodes or sessions, what we must say, where you taught or told us about how to raise your child as a topper, not just in studies, but in all spheres of life. Then next week, you told us about our goals, how to set our goals, parenting goals for 2024. In fact, goal setting is a must in whatever you do. Even if you have to plan your tomorrow, you have to have a goal. So it is very important as a parent to have certain goals. You may miss them, you may meet them, but you have to have a goal. Again, that was a very, very enriching and enlightening session, Dr. Priyanka. And today, a very, very favorite topic of mine, common parenting mistakes that we do and how to avoid them. Dr. Priyanka, let's wait for a few minutes for our audiences to catch up, because I think दिल्ली में इतनी ठंड है कि लोगों को अपने क्विल्स छोड़ के आने में थोड़ा सा अभी आलस लग रहा है. The weather is really very, very bad today,
Is it?
and we haven't seen the sun since morning, and it's like cloudy. It might rain anytime. So, so in the meanwhile, let's welcome all those who have joined us so far. And when we talk about common mistakes that we make as parents, I've got certain pointers that I've kept ready with me. That what are those common mistakes? How to identify those mistakes, and how to accept those mistakes that we as parents are making, and then how to go about rectifying. So we can break it into four sections, and then we'll get along with our conversation. So
Sure.
you are an expert, so you have to tell us what are the common mistakes that parents make.
Okay, so let's dive in. So first of all, I think everybody who's watching is a parent or knows parents, right? And I think a big salute to everybody. It's a big, big job that you're doing. I think it's one of the most important jobs in this world is to raise a child and to raise a child who is happy and successful eventually in life. Right? Every parent's dream. But at the same time, I understand how challenging it has always been, and it's just becoming more and more with the speed of time, with everything becoming so fast. The parents are also just trying to cope up with so many responsibilities now, because it's not only like raising the child. You have 100 things on your to-do list, and in the midst of that, you're trying to figure out, how do I really give quality time to my child? How do I be that smiling mother that my child needs, even though I may be stressed at work? And so it's a big challenge. And I think, the first mistake, especially as mothers, that we make is that, we feel guilty all the time. We
Yeah.
keep beating ourselves up that, oh, look at the other mother. She gives so much time. I never have time. I don't give time. I'm not a good mother. If my child doesn't know how to eat, probably I'm not a good mother. If my child didn't perform well, probably I'm not a good mother. And, we get into this vicious cycle of just being guilty and then feeling frustrated. The frustration lashes out at our kids. And so I think we have to stop it right there. There is really no reason for any parent out there to feel guilty, because the fact that you've brought a being into this world, you are doing everything in your capacity to nurture and nourish the child is a big achievement. Nevertheless, we should always learn and say, okay, how can I do it better?
Yeah,
How can I help my child out? How can I help my child improve their performance? Or how can I be a more fun mother? That's fine. But I think the first thing that we need to move out of is this negative energy that I'm not that good of a mother or my child is not that great, because our energy is what determines our child's attitude. Everyone
absolutely.
is talking about this law of manifestation energy. Everybody's talking about it today, right? Why? Because we're all connected by an energy, and the
Yeah,
child is most connected to the parent for those initial 15 years of their life. So your energy and the way that you feel about yourself and the child is going to directly impact the child's development.
totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. In fact, not only working mothers, even stay at home mothers are somehow intimidated by those mothers who are able to raise their child in a certain manner which they feel is superior. First thing is comparison between two kids, and then comparison with self and another mother or another parent. So, like, how can parents avoid being avoid comparing their kids with others? I think ये भी एक बहुत बड़ी mistake है. गिल्ट ट्रिप पे तो मदर्स हमेशा ही रहती हैं. इट्स नॉट इजी टू गेट rid of their that guilt, and it's often the kids also these days they put their parents on a guilt trip,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. So many kids say,
हमारे लिए
आपके पास
टाइम नहीं
time ही नहीं है.
निकाला, हाँ आपने ये प्रॉमिस किया था, आपने ऐसे नहीं किया. और वो गिल्ट ट्रिप एक और गलती में मेरे ख्याल में की तरफ डायरेक्ट करता है, उस पेरेंट को प्रोपेल करता है, जब वो उस गिल्ट को ओवरकम करने के लिए कि एक अनफुलफिल्ड प्रॉमिस को ओवरकम करने के लिए वो बच्चे को या तो कोई ब्राइब देता है या कोई गिफ्ट देता है. In most cases I have seen that parents do not give gifts to their parents kids, they bribe their kids, which again is a very big mistake.
Yeah. I totally agree, because
Yeah.
quality time का ना कोई substitute नहीं है.
Yes.
No gift, no holiday, no movie can substitute a regular quality time. And so I tell each and every one of my clients, ki, even if 24 hours may you're busy 23 hours and 30 minutes, but somewhere if you can take out 20 to 30 minutes to just be with your child, and all of us can manage that, no matter how crazy our schedules are, but I know for a fact that we can manage it. Then
Yeah.
just take out that time, schedule in that meeting with your child. I mean, in your calendar, you write it as a meeting so that you know that this time is blocked. You cannot substitute it for another meeting or another Zoom call, because quality time ka koi substitute nahi hai. The
I
kind of,
remember, yeah, I remember having read a story somewhere where the child came to his father or his mother, and he said that, Dad, I wish that you take my this money bank, piggy bank. Take all the money in my piggy bank. What do you want out of this? Like, why do you want to give this to me? I want to buy your time. I don't want you to buy toys for me. So, absolutely, kids are hungry for your attention. And, वो ही दो लोग हैं मम्मी और पापा जो बच्चों को दिखते हैं, स्पेशली न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज में. डॉक्टर प्रियंका, मुझे एक चीज के बारे में और बात करनी है. लाइक अगेन, लाइक I have been partially brought up in a joint family system and then into a nuclear family. एक जॉइंट फैमिली में पेरेंट्स से सबसे बड़ी गलतियां क्या हो जाती हैं?
uh, so yeah, I am a huge advocate of joint families. I've
Yeah,
been raised in a joint family and even married into a joint family.
yeah,
And so I feel, the biggest thing is कि communication gap आ जाता है कहीं पे in all the elders of the house. So,
yeah,
like, the mother and the father are on different pages, right? And then the in laws are on a different page. And, maybe the chachi and chacha are there, they're also on different pages. But आपस में उनका कोई communication नहीं है कि ये जो बच्चा है हमारे घर में, इसको हमें कैसे बड़ा करना है. And that
yeah,
creates a lot of confusion in the child's mind, because one adult is saying one thing and the other adult is contradicting that no, this is not allowed. Or
yeah,
no, you don't listen to them, I'm your mother. Or, no, you don't listen to them. So I think that is the biggest mistake. So the child is always confused. Who do I look up to? Because for the child, all of these people are very, very precious.
Yeah.
it's too early for
All
the
of
child
it.
to distinguish, no, like only my mother or my father will be right. So I think, more than the child's growth, it's the parents who need to understand that if we really want to take advantage of this joint family system and the support we have, we
Yeah.
need to have open conversations, without thinking कि दूसरे को कैसा लगेगा. Yes, we definitely need to have respectful conversations. अब जैसे
Yes.
काफी मदर्स आती हैं कि अरे हमारे इन लॉज बहुत मिठाई खिला देते हैं हमारे बच्चों को, हम उनको मीठा नहीं खिलाना चाहते हैं, राइट. इट्स अ वेरी कॉमन प्रॉब्लम इन एवरी हाउस. एंड आई से दैट इवन इन माय हाउस दिस वाज अ इशू व्हेन माय किड्स वर यंग.
Yeah.
बट कई बार हम अपने इन लॉज के साथ बैठे एंड देन वी टोल्ड देम कि शुगर से ये नुकसान होता है बच्चे को, तो आपको खिलाना है तो आप 2 हफ्ते में एक बार खिला दो,
Hmm.
उतना
Hmm.
तो हम भी खिलाते हैं. बट आप डेली मत खिलाओ, उसकी जगह आप ये खिला दो. सो वी गिव देम सम सब्स्टिट्यूट, इंस्टेड ऑफ आपको अगर लाड करना है बच्चे का तो आप उनको स्टोरी सुना दो, या
Hmm.
यू गिव देम दीज हेल्दी ऑप्शंस, बिकॉज दे डोंट नो when they were being raised. So for them, a treat was that rasgulla. It was like,
Yes.
something, it was a delicacy at that time because available
Yeah.
ही नहीं था. Right now, it's not the same case. So I think having that trust that the other person will listen to you. अगर आप उनको ठीक ढंग से बताओगे, so they also want the benefit of the child only. मतलब वो
Yeah.
आपके बच्चे का नुकसान नहीं करना चाह रहे हैं. So I think
बिल्कुल
that
भी.
mindset, when you speak to the in-law with that mindset or even to your husband with that mindset, they are definitely accepting. अगर आप उनको blame करने जाओगे, then nobody is going to accept it.
Yeah. Huh? Even with the, you always see that dads are the lenient ones. Mother is always that hard taskmaster. ये मत करो, ऐसे करो, time से उठो, time से सो. But it's the papa or the father who gives those kids an easy way out of certain situations, or offering them little gifts or candies. And when it's time to go to sleep, then extra masti time with the kids. So of course, yes, कहीं ना कहीं पे वो एक गैप आता है, and communication is the key. And we have Pooja Murarka Kejriwal listening to this, and she's saying, amazing, that's bang on. Communication is the key. Kiran Datta ji, she also stays in Mumbai. She's saying that yes, communication is very important. And Ekta is asking, are mistakes being made by the current generation more as compared to the older generation?
So I don't think I would agree with that. I think today's parents are quite aware. They are more hands-on and involved because I think life is easier, right? Because of the technology and automation, that we don't have to do a lot of things with our own hands. So we
Yeah.
do have more time on our hands. But at the same time, there are certain things that the older generation has because of the years of their experience, right? Which is wisdom, which I think we should kind of imbibe and we should understand it, saying that, this has some value. Now, how do I apply it to today's time? अगर बड़े लोग बोल रहे हैं कि भी बच्चे को इतने बजे घर आ जाना चाहिए, so there is some value behind it, right? Now we have to say, okay, according to today's generation, how do we modify it? It's basically saying setting a boundary, right? पहले के टाइम में बाउंड्री अलग थी. Even today we set boundaries, but they're
Yes.
basically trying to tell you. So I think mistakes तो देखो हर generation में ही होता है. It depends on the situation, but I think today's parents are actually more aware, so I would not really agree with that.
एक जो मुझे फायदा हमारे पेरेंट्स की जनरेशन में लगता है वो ये है दैट दे यूज टू इन्वॉल्व अस इन द डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज ऑफ द हाउस होल्ड. जॉइंट फैमिली सिस्टम में भी होता है कि सब मिलके मटर छील रहे हैं या पूरी बन रही है तो सब पूरी बना रहे हैं. इवन किड्स, बॉयज ऑल्सो यूज टू लर्न लॉट्स ऑफ थिंग्स अबाउट रनिंग अ हाउस होल्ड बिकॉज दे वर ग्रोइंग अप इन अ जॉइंट फैमिली. सो ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स कहीं ना आपके साथ में उस लेवल पे इन्वॉल्व होते हैं जहां पर आप उनका हाथ में हाथ हैंड होल्डिंग करना जिसको बोलते हैं. while younger generation parents which I have seen, they are armed with technology. They research a lot कि पेरेंटिंग की बुक्स पढ़ते हैं, वो पेरेंटिंग के ऊपर बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स पढ़ते हैं, वो बहुत सारी चीजें दे रिसर्च अ लॉट, बट somehow they don't apply that learning.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
think वही है कि see, there are like 100 million things out there on the internet
Yeah.
with regards to parenting, right? But I think it's really about the fact that why are parents struggling to really implement, जो आपने बोला ना, apply नहीं
Yes.
कर पा रहे.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why they are struggling is कि वो information तो मिल गई है, but then the energy they need to take the action, because they need mental energy to do this. अगर हम बैठ के कंप्यूटर पे काम कर रहे हैं, so our mind is being occupied all the time, right? Physically we're not exhausted, But I think
Yeah.
the parent, because they are so worked up all the time that I have to make sure that my child is the best in, 100 things, and how do I manage their schedule? We become managers of our children's schedule more than really raising our kids and nurturing them.
Yes.
एंड जो ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स थे दे आर मोर रिलैक्स्ड इन देयर माइंड कि अगर हम अभी कुछ बच्चे के साथ एंगेज कर रहे हैं वी आर एक्चुअली प्रेजेंट. So in a
Yeah.
lot of my classes, we actually teach parents how to be present. Like when I'm sitting with my child, I have to
Yeah.
physically take my phone and keep it away in the other room. क्योंकि जैसे ही WhatsApp बजेगा, I'll have a urge to see the WhatsApp. So I'm
Yes.
disconnected from the child immediately. Right? And so we have to apply modern tools to say that, okay, how can you ensure that when you're with the child, then you're actually with the child?
Yeah. And one more thing is that, like, parents generally, because they are young and they are like always short on time, जैसा आप बता रहे हो कि उनको टाइम मैनेजमेंट और बच्चों को मैनेज करना है, एंड सर्टन अदर थिंग्स दे हैव टू मैनेज इन दोज 24 hours. Somewhere they don't walk the talk. कि झल्लाहट में एक मदर बोलती है चिल्लाओ मत, और वो खुद चिल्ला के बोल रहे होते हैं, या टीवी मत देखो या फोन दूर रखो, लेकिन वो बच्चा देख रहा है कि घर आते ही टीवी ऑन हो रहा है, कि घर आते ही मम्मा पापा अपने लैपटॉप में या फोन में घुसे हुए हैं, और जब तक वो खाना खा रहे हैं तब भी वो अपने फोन में. तो कहीं ना कहीं वी हैव टू सेट बाउंड्रीज फॉर आवरसेल्व्स आल्सो.
Yeah. So I think, it's all about role modeling. As I
या.
said, that the mother's or the parents' energy is directly taken up by the child. So similarly, I mean, पहले के टाइम में कैसे अगर मम्मी जैसे साड़ी पहनती थी बच्चे भी वैसी कोशिश करते थे. I mean, it was like a fun play for them, but that's real
Yes.
because that's how the brain works. That the brain is not going to hear what you say. The brain will pick up how you're moving, the way you're sitting, your facial expression. So that's why as your kids grow, you start to notice that they start to resemble you more and more. So they'll
Yeah.
pick up your good and your bad. It's like a combination, right? So I think parenting, I say to every parent that parenting is about the parent. Like, how do I become better? So
Yeah.
naturally, my children will become better, and there's no doubt about it. Like, I need to say, okay, these are the flaws. ये मेरी weakness है. तो
बिल्कुल.
how do I improve myself? मेरा बच्चा मेरे को देख के 50% of the game is won there. Then it's only the remaining, where a technical skill is involved or a specific subject the child can't understand. That you can outsource. But ये जो आपका
Yeah.
foundation है, this you can't outsource. Like no teacher can
Absolutely.
come and teach your child this.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And in the meanwhile, there's a debate that has started outside the box here between Manju Lata and Ekta. So let me read their comments and their debate here so that you can also throw some light on it. So Manju Lata says that today's parents have to struggle a lot to bring up their kids. Nuclear family is the biggest issue because mothers are mostly job oriented and they don't have time to look after the kids well. And Ekta's response to this is, I don't agree, Manjulata. Even working mothers nurture their kids well. So Manju replies, mothers don't have the time to peep inside their kids' life. So this is the debate that's going outside. And it's interesting that people are really actually our audiences, however less they may be in number, but their क्वांटिटी से ऊपर क्वालिटी भारी पड़ती है, हम हमेशा मानते हैं. Sweta is there. She's in a moving car while she's listening to this, watching our show right now. And she says quantity of time is not as important as quality time, as you mentioned earlier. And it also depends कि वर्किंग मदर के वर्किंग आवर्स कितने हैं, क्या उनका प्रोफेशन है, कितना उनके ऊपर एक मेंटल या फिजिकल प्रेशर रहता है उनकी जॉब का, उसके ऊपर भी बहुत डिपेंड करता है. वाई दिस सडन शिफ्ट, नॉट सडन बट इन द लास्ट 10-12 years, what I am watching is that parents have started rushing to, like, shape their kids careers एंड लाइव्स. एक्चुअली जैसे हम एक वो मिट्टी से को शेप देना चाहते हैं ना, उसको थप्पड़ मार मार के कि तुझे ऐसे ही बनना है, तो हम अपने बच्चों को, सारे पेरेंट्स एक ये रश में क्यों है कि मेरा बच्चा स्विमिंग भी सीखे, मेरा बच्चा टेनिस भी जाएगा, मेरा बच्चा डांस भी सीखेगा, मेरा बच्चा ड्रम्स भी बजाएगा या आर्ट भी करेगा. वो 5-5, 6-6 क्लासेस में. ये तो ठीक है कि चलो पेरेंट्स को पता है कि वी आर नॉट अवेलेबल, so the child should be engaged, but then putting the child to so many, like, things, isn't it quite unfair on the child?
See, I think times have changed, right?
Hmm.
When we're talking about nuclear family and joint family, पहले
Yeah.
joint family में ना 15-20 लोग होते थे एक घर में.
Yeah.
So even if the main parent is not available, there's somebody to look after the child, to even engage with the child. The child used to naturally learn a lot of things. Now, nuclear family, to हमें पता ही है, even if we talk about joint family today, is generally like in-laws, mother, father, and the child. That's the
Yeah.
definition of joint family,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Ah,
in-laws are also very active in these days. Nobody is a homemaker anymore. Like,
yeah.
even your mother-in-law, father-in-law will probably have a lot of commitments. So the problem of that today's parents have is that if, suppose I say, okay, my child should be free and they are at home, there is actually no active learning that's happening at home because the child is with a domestic help,
Yeah.
right? And so it's better to kind of engage them in some qualitative activity. At
Yeah.
the same time, I think now we have to really time box our day. Now time box means कि सबसे पहले हमें identify करना है कि what is the most crucial for our child's development. Is it swimming, dance, math, or uske pehle, if we say what, if in order of importance, what is the most
Yeah.
importance? Ki bhai, is the most importance mere bachche ki value strong ho? Is the most important the physical strength? Is the most important my channel of communication? So once we write these down, and then comes your math, science, tuition marks,
Yeah.
एंड देन वी से ओके, अब उसकी वैल्यू डेवलपमेंट के लिए हम रोज ना 10 मिनट बैठ के बात करेंगे. विल रीड सम गुड बुक, सम गुड स्टोरीज. अच्छा,
Yeah.
उसकी फिजिकल डेवलपमेंट के लिए हम डेली हाफ एन आवर वी आर गोना हैव अ फिजिकल एक्टिविटी क्लास. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड टाइम बॉक्सिंग द डे, right?
Yeah.
It's important for us to bond as a family. So we're going to make sure that every Friday night, we are not doing any social commitments. We will be home, right? And we will be off our laptops. So when we time box our lives, we will have enough time for the important things in our life. And then we can schedule our child's calendar and our calendar accordingly. And it's very easy to do. Like, working mother hai, chahe homemaker hai. Everybody is busy today. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's a question of working or non-working, because even non-working mothers don't have time, right? It's about how important are these things for me in my child's life, and how am I scheduling in that in. So it's basically कि family time भी अब हमें schedule करना पड़ेगा. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, right? Because if that's the only way that we can have quality family time, then let's do it,
Yeah, I
because it's
totally
important.
agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree with you. In fact, I would like to share here that we stayed in a setup where me, my parents, and my younger brothers, we lived as a nuclear family, but all the time our grandparents would be visiting us. All our chachas and buas used to come and stay with us for long months, and like kabhi wo jab tak shadi hokar nahi ja rahe the tab tak. So my dad could see that my mom is constantly bogged down by that, running that household. Okay, managing sasu ji, देवर नंद बच्चे पढ़ाई लिखाई सब कुछ. And my dad used to be busy, like he was out in the field working. He's a lawyer. So what my dad decided, in order to show us that we are also responsible to run the household, number one, number two, and mom also needs some rest and relaxation, he decided that once a week papa and the kids will cook dinner. तो हम बड़े एक्साइटेड रहते थे कि आज हमारा आज कुकिंग की इवनिंग है, आज हम लोग डिनर बनाएंगे. तो कोई कुछ कर रहा है, कोई कुछ कर रहा है, मस्ती कर रहे हैं, कुछ बिगड़ रहा है, कुछ बन रहा है. मम्मा को नहीं आने दिया जाता था उस दिन. सो मम्मा उस टाइम पे चाहे वो बाहर से ही हमको देख देख के हंस रही होती थी, बट यस, जब वो हंस रही है मतलब दैट शी इज रिलैक्सिंग नाउ, शी इज हैप्पी. सो वी कैन एक्चुअली डिवाइस थिंग्स. टाइम बॉक्सिंग में आप अपने हिसाब से चीजों को डिवाइस, मतलब वो कर सकते हो कि हम ये कर सकते हैं ऐसे बच्चों के साथ, ताकि बच्चा कुछ नई चीज भी सीखेगा, अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी सीखेगा. क्योंकि आजकल ना बच्चों के साथ में हमने उनकी लाइफ को ना एक टेलर मेड लाइफ बना दिया है. सुबह से लेकर शाम तक हमने उनके मिनट्स और आवर्स बिल्कुल अकाउंटेबल कर दिए हैं. और हम खुद को भी अकाउंटेबल मानते हैं उस चीज में कि इतने बजे से इतने बजे तक ये करना है, ये करना है, ये करना है. लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं टाइम मैनेजमेंट सिखाते सिखाते बच्चे को हम भूल गए हैं कि उसको एक फन लविंग ह्यूमन भी बनना है. बिकॉज वेयर इज द फन दीज डेज? आई डोंट फाइंड फैमिलीज हैविंग फन. मॉल जाना इज नॉट फन अकॉर्डिंग टू मी.
So, I mean, I think that's where
Yeah.
parents need to kind of identify, right?
Yeah.
Ki this is, so I tell my clients who work with me one on one that if you can give a gift to your child, it will be have 20 minutes of a do nothing time every day.
Yeah.
Do nothing का मतलब है कि there is no agenda कि अच्छा चलो homework दिखाओ, अच्छा चलो ये बताओ, अच्छा art करो, अच्छा ये करो. It's like कि अच्छा तुम्हें क्या करना है, तुम्हें बालकनी में बैठना है, चलो बालकनी में बैठते हैं, तुम्हें गार्डन में खेलने जाना है, चलो खेलते हैं, तुम्हें कुछ नहीं करना है, खाली लेटना है और बातें करनी है. So that is the time where the child will really experience you know,
या
क्योंकि आई थिंक वी हैव टू एक्सेप्ट कि देखो टाइम बदल गया है, राइट, कंपटीशन बढ़ रहा है. सो जो पहले का लाइफस्टाइल था, दैट विल, आई मीन, इट वोंट वर्क टुडे, honestly
या
speaking. It will not work today because if your kids are not capable, if they're not performing, then anyways you're going to be in a problem in life,
एब्सोल्युटली
you know. So
या
that's why you have to say, how do I make the most out of our time together? And that's why we have parenting tools. पहले नहीं होते थे ना parenting tools, क्योंकि पहले problems ही नहीं थी. These are all modern problems.
यस
So
यस
that's why we give our parents parenting tools. That, you know, okay, you know, I understand that your child has to do skating and art and basketball, but in the middle of that chaos and that, you know, hectic life, you need to first slot in this do nothing time, you know, this family time. Uske around aap baki scheduling karo. So don't
या
have your child miss out on that. I think the mistake parents are making is, in the pursuit of, you know, building your child's portfolio, they are losing the core essence.
या
They forget कि अरे बनना क्या था, actually में क्या करना था. You know, so the resume is amazing, but eventually those kids are actually not living a very happy life क्योंकि relationship building नहीं सीखा. Because relationships can only be built when you're, you know, जैसे बोलते हैं ना, खाली, तो ये
हाँ
रिलेशनशिप बन सकता है. आप बिजी
बिल्कुल
होके रिलेशनशिप नहीं बना सकते हो.
बिल्कुल हाथ में मोबाइल है और आप बच्चे के साथ बैठे हो और आप सिर्फ स्क्रीन में झांक रहे हो तो बच्चा आपके साथ क्या करेगा और आपने बच्चे के साथ क्या किया. तो वो जो 20 मिनट्स 10 मिनट्स 15 मिनट्स हैं वो एब्सोल्युटली बच्चे के साथ होने चाहिए और उसमें आपको कुछ नहीं करना है अपार्ट फ्रॉम कम्युनिकेटिंग विद योर चाइल्ड और हैविंग सम फन. एब्सोल्युटली अभी हमारे पास बहुत अच्छे अच्छे कमेंट्स आए हैं. एकता सेज दैट दे हैव वी हैव बीन गिविंग चॉइस टाइम टू आवर डॉटर एंड Mandala Sikhad. Kiran Datta, she is a grandmother. She says that parents expect too much from the child these days. And सेल्फ सेटिंग एग्जाम्पल्स होने चाहिए कि अगर आप पहले उस चीज को वो करके देखो कि मतलब यू हैव टू, जैसा मैंने पहले बोला दैट यू हैव टू बी सेल्फ कॉम्पिटेंट फर्स्ट एक्चुअली देन टू एक्सपेक्ट कॉम्पिटेंसी फ्रॉम द चाइल्ड ऑल्सो. बिकॉज ठीक है एज यू सेड कि हमने अपने बच्चे का रेज्यूमे बहुत अट्रैक्टिव बना दिया, उसका पोर्टफोलियो बहुत स्ट्रांग बना दिया, बट वेयर इज द ह्यूमन,
Yeah.
the human aspect, it gets lost somewhere. And this is where the main problem is, where you are seeing so much of aggression in kids these days, so much of mistrust amongst kids. Like बच्चे भी आजकल बच्चों पे आपस में भी हम कहते हैं बच्चे भगवान का रूप होते हैं, लेकिन आजकल नहीं होते हैं. बच्चे शुरू से इतने ज्यादा स्मार्ट और मैनिपुलेटिव हो जाते हैं क्योंकि वो अपने घरों में ऐसे ही रिश्तों को देख रहे हैं क्रम्बल होते हुए, या लाइक husband using the wife using the mother, या manipulating relationships to their own benefit. बच्चे बहुत जल्दी सीखते हैं ये चीज.
So I think that's why, like, you know, when we run our parenting programs, we
Yeah.
highly focus on these core skills. कि यू नो बाकी सब चीजें आपके बच्चे को आ जाएंगी या सोसाइटी सिखाएगी, स्कूल प्रेशर देगी, स्कूल इज गोना मेक श्योर दैट योर चाइल्ड इज रेज्यूमे, दे आर गोना कीप टेलिंग यू, make sure your
Yes.
child does music and art, but no school or no outside person is going to tell you that help your child learn how to build relationship. No school
Yes.
has taken the responsibility of telling you that help your child feel confident from inside, you know, help your child feel that family is an important part of their life. No school is going to do that, and it's not their job also.
Yeah.
So that's why we focus highly on it कि हम easy 10-minute tools parents को दें जिसमें time नहीं लगे. But you know for a fact that when I'm using the tools, I'm really focusing on this foundation. So उसके ऊपर जो
Yeah.
भी मैं build करूंगा ना building, that will be strong, because foundation नहीं
Yeah.
होगा तो फिर खोखला हो जाएगा.
Absolutely. So we have Sweta Sundar, like she wants to ask everyone. Sweta Sundar is our mandala queen. She's a great artist and an amazing writer. So she says that many people ask me, you write and draw. Do your daughters also do these things? I feel it isn't right to expect kids to do everything that their parents do. आई फील वेरी प्रेशर्ड एट दीज टाइम्स. जब हाँ जैसे मुझसे पूछते हैं लोग कि आप पोइट्री लिखते हो या आप गाना गाते हो, क्लासिकल गाते हो, आपने अपनी बच्ची को क्यों नहीं सिखाया? ये क्यों हम एक्सपेक्ट करें कि हमारा बच्चा वो ही करे जो हम कर रहे हैं? या जैसे एक जो है कि डॉक्टर्स चाहते हैं कि हमारा बच्चा डॉक्टर ही बने, लेकिन बच्चा नहीं बनना चाहता। ये क्यों, जो राइजिंग नंबर ऑफ सुसाइड्स हैं वो जो कोटा में हो रहे हैं इस वक्त, आई बिलोंग टू कोटा राजस्थान, एंड इट्स वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट टू सी अ ब्यूटीफुल सिटी getting that blot of labeled is being labeled as a suicide city these days. तो यहाँ पर कहीं ना कहीं पेरेंटिंग में बहुत बड़ा फ्लॉ है कि उन्होंने अपने बच्चों को समझा ही नहीं, वो नहीं जाना चाहते थे वहां पर आगे पढ़ने के लिए, उन्हें नहीं बनना डॉक्टर, और आपने उसको छोड़ दिया है उस समंदर में ले जाके।
So I
How
mean,
do
I think,
parents, like, how do parents have, like, because parenting is not about the kid, as you said, it's about themselves. वो
so see,
कैसे
I
असेस
think,
करें कि मेरे बच्चे की कोर कॉम्पिटेंस किसमें है, वो जाना चाहता है नहीं जाना चाहता, लाइक आप हमेशा बच्चों से हम यही कहते हैं ना, तुम्हें नहीं पता तुम्हारे लिए क्या अच्छा है, इट्स अस हु नो व्हाट्स बेस्ट फॉर यू, बट इवन वी डोंट नो व्हाट्स बेस्ट फॉर देम एक्चुअली।
see, honestly, nobody knows कि future में क्या होगा, and especially in today's time, careers are changing so fast that you don't even know that what your child is studying today will even be useful tomorrow. But
या
I think, this mental health and suicide is actually not because of the quota or anything. It's because उस बच्चे को मतलब they didn't have that inner strength. They're not resilient. कि अगर
या
मेरे से नहीं हो रहा है तो that doesn't mean that I'll do suicide. Then I need to figure out the way. I need to have that problem solving attitude. So I think, when parents are spoon feeding their children from the beginning about everything, that, अच्छा तुमसे नहीं हो रहा है, लो तुम ये ले लो, अच्छा तुम कुछ काम मत करो, तुम खाली पढ़ो, अच्छा तुम नीचे भी मत जाओ, तुम खाली पढ़ो. So that is where the problem is, because the child never experienced how to manage, how to problem solve, how to ask for help. If your child knows this, then it's not really about the medicine or the engineering or the law.
या
Any career the child goes into, they will face problems, right? They will face turmoil. And that's why today's kids are not able to deal with it. Have you ever heard 20 years ago children talking about how stressed they are? Why are kids talking about how stressed they are? Because they were
nowadays
never.
even a 6 year old child comes home and tells दादी नानी मैं आज मुझे बहुत स्ट्रेस हो गया है।
So that's not a very good sign, right? That's actually a red, it's like a red flag to the parents saying, कि अच्छा अगर
या
मेरे बच्चे को stress हो गया है, then why am I not teaching my child how to deal with stress? And
या
what is stress and what is not stress, because when you look at peer pressure, so everything is a stress according to your peers. कि अरे एक
या
पेज एक्स्ट्रा होमवर्क का मिल गया, so that's also stressful. But we need to help our children understand what is stress first of all and what is not stress, and what are the ways in which we can deal with it. The
या
parents, I mean, it's like, you have to keep your awareness out, because peer pressure is so high. What's happening in the surrounding, and how do I really bulletproof my child? That's the word I use. Like, you have to insulate your child and you have to bulletproof them so they're so strong from inside कि कल को वो छोड़ के भी आ जाए ना कोटा से कि भी मेरे से नहीं हो रहा है,
हाँ
but they should be equipped to do something else. Like, they
यस
should have that strength to say कि ठीक है, maybe I'm not meant for this, but I know that I can do something. And I'm going to go out there and work hard and do it. क्योंकि I think आजकल क्या hard work भी एक taboo हो गया, especially in the younger generation. You know, a day that they're working 10 hours and they're like, oh my God, it was such a stressful day for me, right? But where is the attitude coming from? Because probably at home, somebody is not telling them that hard work is what we were meant for. I mean, human evolution was to do hard work only, right? It was
यस
not to live an easy life. So I think it's about, क्या उसको input मिल रहा है उस बच्चे को. कि अगर पेरेंट घर पे आया एंड यू लाइक, ओ माय गॉड, इट वाज सो स्ट्रेसफुल, आई हैड सच अ हार्ड डे, माय बॉस इज लाइक दिस, उसको बात ही नहीं समझ आ रही, सो द चाइल्ड इज समवेयर टेकिंग इट इन दैट, ओके, व्हेन यू हैव अ लॉन्ग डे दैट मींस इट्स वेरी हार्ड एंड आई डोंट वांट टू डू दैट, बट दे विल हैव टू डू इट. दैट्स, आई मीन, वो तो नियम ही है ना कि यू विल हैव
बिल्कुल
टू अचीव
हाँ
एनीथिंग. सो वी से दैट
बिकॉज
हार्ड वर्क इज फन एटीट्यूड बनाओ अपने बच्चे को.
जैसे अभी हम बात कर रहे थे कि हम इतनी, लाइक बिफोर वी स्टार्टेड दिस शो वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट हाउ वी कीप आवर किड्स प्रोटेक्टेड। हमने जो इनको इंसुलेशन दी है ना, वो गलत तरीके से इंसुलेट किया है बच्चों को। हमने उनके इमोशंस को बिना समझे, या हमने उनको सही तरीके से नहीं समझाया, हमने दूसरी चीजों से तो बचा लिया कि बाहर बहुत ट्रैफिक है या बाहर जाना अनसेफ है, तो हमने ही उनको कभी भी रियल लाइफ सिचुएशंस की तरफ एक्सपोज नहीं करा। अगर छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स से अगर आप हम बच्चों को आज भेज दें कि चलो आज तुम नीचे इतना घूम कर आओ, आज तुम शॉप से ये खरीद के लाओ, ठीक है, वी कैन कीप एन आई ऑन देम ना फ्रॉम अ डिस्टेंस, वी कैन मॉनिटर देयर मूवमेंट, बट पहले हमने उनको इतना प्रोटेक्ट कर दिया कि बच्चे को जो खाना है वही हम खिला रहे हैं, उसको उसी टाइम सुला रहे हैं। उसके बाद में आपने उसने 11th स्टैंडर्ड के बाद बच्चे को उठा के फेंक दिया सीधे कि जाओ अब तुम्हें 15-15 घंटे पढ़ाई करनी है, तुम्हें अच्छा स्कोर करना है, बिकॉज तुमको डॉक्टर बनना है या इंजीनियर बनना है या कुछ भी बनना है, क्रिकेटर भी बनना है अगर, ठीक है, वी रिस्पेक्ट कि तुझे क्रिकेटर बनना है, आई एम स्पेंडिंग मनी, सो यू बेटर परफॉर्म एंड बेटर बिकम अ ग्रेट क्रिकेटर. So that pressure that parents put on the kids now, I think that is the biggest mistake. अगर सिर्फ
Yeah.
यही कह लो कि हर कमा देखो, मेहनत करना सबको है, बच्चे भी कर लेंगे, बट हमने उनसे पहले मेहनत करवाई नहीं है.
वही मतलब आई थिंक फ्रॉम अ यंग एज अगर आप ये सब एटीट्यूड अपने बच्चे में डालोगे सो धीरे
या
धीरे देन दे आल्सो दे मूव इनटू दैट माइंडसेट राइट देन इट्स
या
नॉट सो हार्ड फॉर देम.
सो अभी आई जस्ट रेड अ मैसेज फ्रॉम एकता कि जो बच्चे चाहते हैं उनको वो करने देना चाहिए. हमने बच्चों के 8th क्लास से ही बोल, अच्छा अपराजिता बोल रही हैं कि आपको जो सब्जेक्ट लेना है वो ले लो. And Ekta says that today's luxury is spoiling kids. Overexposure to social media and TV. We are not preparing them for the VUCA word. I didn't get what is VUCA. Maybe it's a term which I'm not.
Yeah, it's the
Hmm.
VUCA word means
Yeah.
volatile, uncertain. So basically, it's
Oh,
like a
yeah.
change. It's a changing world, and
Yeah.
so they're basically saying that in the world that we're living in, our children have to be able to change and
Yeah.
adapt because there will be so many changes. So I mean, we have to prepare our kids and help them practice adapting. कि अरे आज ये नहीं है सो हाउ डू वी मैनेज क्योंकि पहले के
Hmm.
टाइम में ऑटोमेटिक होता था देयर वाज ऑलवेज स्कैर्सिटी राइट कभी खाना
Yes.
कम है कभी लाइट नहीं है कभी पानी नहीं है कभी कपड़ा नहीं है सो द चिल्ड्रन आर नेचुरली अडेप्टिंग today's time we have abundance of things and
Yeah.
so the child doesn't need to adapt so we have to actually artificially create the circumstances so they learn to adapt.
पहले हमारी लाइफ में जब व्हेन वी वर ग्रोइंग अप ना, सिचुएशंस ऐसे अराइज होती थी और ऐसी सॉल्व हो जाती थी कि सडनली आपके घर में 5 लोगों का खाना है एंड यू गेट 3 more guests. सो वी कुड सी आर मदर्स हाउ दे आर मैनेजिंग कि एक्स्ट्रा एक छोटा सा सैलेड और डाल दिया आपने, रायता भी बना दिया आपने, ये सब कर दिया. तो वो हमने ना बिना उनके सिखाए हमने वो चीज सीख ली मैनेज करना. या मेड नहीं आई है, आजकल मेड नहीं आती है तो कितना बड़ा इश्यू हो जाता है, बिकॉज वो वर्किंग मदर हो चाहे होम मेकर हो, वो बहुत बड़ा इशू होता है. पहले मेड नहीं आती थी तो चलो तू 2 काम कर, तुम 2 करो, तुम 2 करो. स्कूल तो हम भी सुबह ही जाते थे ना. We also used to come in the evening. We also used to have our music classes or sports classes. But somehow this प्रेशर, पहले पेरेंट्स अपने पे इतना प्रेशर डाल लेते हैं कि वो डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली बच्चे तक वो परमिएट हो जाता है. इट गोज फ्रॉम दिस टू दैट, लाइक वॉल टू दैट वॉल.
I think it's the attitude of the parents that
या
reflects in the child somewhere. So again, parenting is it's really about you and how you can be that better person who you wish to see in your child. It's not like the child is going to fulfill your unfulfilled dream. It's about can my child, follow me and then become better than me. I think
या
that's the attitude shift.
सो दिस इज एन अमेजिंग line to wrap up the day, that let the child become a better version of yourself. कि हम जो थे नहीं बन पाए कोई बात नहीं, जो मैं नहीं कर पाई कोई बात, बिकॉज मैंने एक चीज और देखी है बिफोर यू वाइंड अप, दैट टॉयज भी पेरेंट्स बच्चों को वही दिला के लाते हैं मार्केट से जो उनको कभी बचपन में लेने का मन था. आई हैव सीन दैट एंड आई हैव सीन पेरेंट्स एडमिटिंग टू इट, that I wanted to buy certain doll in my childhood and I couldn't buy that, I couldn't have that doll, so I got this for my child. जबकि उस बच्चे को शायद उस डॉल से कोई मतलब ही नहीं होगा. सो कहीं ना कहीं हमें खुद का बेस्ट वर्जन बनने की कोशिश करनी है. कंपटीशन भी खुद से ही करना है. और एज पेरेंट्स वी must not compare ourselves with other set of parents. That is of essential importance. And today we have had amazing interaction from our viewers as well, because there were itne fast comments likh rahe the that I was finding it very hard to concentrate between you and reading their comments. So Dr. Priyanka, you must go back to the live to watch, like read the comments and the discussion that has happened here. And
100%.
thanking all our viewers, all our participants from outside, that today they really enjoyed watching this session. And Dr. Priyanka Tibrewala, again, as I said, my child has flown off the nest, but I will keep these tips and pointers in my mind so that I can help my daughter become a great mom whenever she decides to.
Thank you so
And
much. Appreciate it.
nah, really, really, because you know what? There are certain things because we कहीं ना कहीं हम कितना भी मॉडर्न पेस के साथ उसके साथ चल रहे हैं, वी आर ट्राइंग टू मैच पेस विद द मॉडर्न ways of life. But again, every day is a day to learn something new. And today, I learned so much from you. So, gratitude from the deepest corner of my heart and on behalf of Team Motherhood. We wrap up today's evening and we'll see you next week, Dr. Priyanka. Thank you so
Yes.
much for your time and your experience shared here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, please take care. Have a great evening. And tomorrow we'll be bringing you an amazing talk show with a very, very successful mother. We bring journeys of mothers out here on Motherhood Club. So tomorrow we'll be having an amazing mother join us tomorrow to see what she has to say and who she is. अभी नहीं बताएंगे कि वो कौन है. तो कल सबके साथ दोबारा मिलते हैं शाम को 5 बजे. और एक बार फिर से सबका तहे दिल से शुक्रिया. सब लोग अपना बहुत बहुत ध्यान रखिए. Thank you everyone. Have a great evening and thank you once again Dr. Priyanka Tibrewala. Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Gratitude.
much.
Thank you.